as an unrelenting Israeli bombardment intensified in the Gaza Strip, with bread and water supply running short amid power outages. A UN human rights expert warned on Saturday that Palestinians are in grave danger of mass ethnic cleansing. Israel has vowed to annihilate Hamas for the offensive a week ago, in which its fighters killed 1,300 Israelis, mainly civilians, and seized scores of hostages. It has imposed a total blockade, halting food supplies and cutting electricity to Gaza, and bombarded it with unprecedented airstrikes. A week after that began, shops are running out of many items. Israeli strikes on the Gaza Strip since last week have killed at least 2,215 people, including 724 children, the Palestinian territory's Hamas-controlled health ministry said on Saturday. Some 458 women were among those killed, the ministry said. It added that 8,714 people have also been wounded, after an earlier statement said at least 324 people were killed in the past 24 hours alone. Latest developments. Palestinian death toll in retaliatory strikes crosses 2,200. Israel military says Gaza residents must not delay evacuation. WHO flies Gaza health supplies to Egypt border. EU official, UN call evacuation plan impossible, Red Cross appalled by human misery. China calls on US to play responsible role, Iran urges caution. Israeli armored vehicles amass in a field near the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon on October 14, 2023, AFP. The situation in the occupied Palestinian territory and Israel has reached fever pitch, said Francesca Albanese, the UN Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights in Palestine, according to a press release by the UN's Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, OCHR. The United Nations and its member states must intensify efforts to mediate an immediate ceasefire between the parties, before we reach a point of no return, said Albanese. The international community has the responsibility to prevent and protect populations from atrocity crimes. Accountability for international crimes committed by Israeli occupation forces and Hamas must also be immediately pursued, she said. The OCHR statement added, over 423,000 people have been displaced as a result of the Israeli strikes. This fate befell a population which has already experienced 5 major wars since 2008 in the context of an unlawful blockade imposed by Israel since 2007, which Albanese said has been widely condemned by the international community as collective punishment. Palestinians have no safe zone anywhere in Gaza, with Israel having imposed a complete siege on the tiny enclave, with water, food, fuel and electricity unlawfully cut off. Rafah, the only border crossing that remained partially open to the Gaza Strip, was closed after damage caused by Israeli airstrikes, OCHR stated. There is a grave danger that what we are witnessing may be a repeat of the 1948 Nakba and the 1967 Nakba, yet on a larger scale. The international community must do everything to stop this from happening again, Albanese said. She noted that Israeli public officials have openly advocated for another Nakba, the term for the events of 1947 to 1949 when over 750,000 Palestinians were expelled from their homes and lands during the hostilities that led to Israel's birth, the UN office said. The Nakba, which led to Israel's occupation of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip in 1967, displaced 350,000 Palestinians. Israel has already carried out mass ethnic cleansing of Palestinians under the fog of war, Albanese said. Again, in the name of self-defense, Israel is seeking to justify what would amount to ethnic cleansing. Any continued military operations by Israel have gone well beyond the limits of international law. The international community must stop these egregious violations of international law now, before tragic history is repeated. Time is of the essence. Palestinians and Israelis both deserve to live in peace, equality of rights, dignity and freedom, Albanese said. Gaza bakeries run out of bread, water runs low. Bakeries in Gaza were running out of bread, drinking water was in short supply and power outages left families without charged phones to find out if fleeing relatives were safe. Thousands of Palestinians fled the north of the Gaza Strip from the path of an expected Israeli ground assault, while Israel pounded the area with more airstrikes and said it would keep 2 roads open to let people escape. There is an electricity crisis, food crisis, water crisis, a crisis of everything, Ayad Abu Mutlaq, 45, said in Khan Yunis in South Gaza, a region filling up with thousands of people fleeing the north for fear of an Israeli invasion. It is only God who can resolve it, he said after touring 4 bakeries to find long queues or no supplies. The flood of people arriving in South Gaza after Israel told them on Friday to leave an area in the north has stretched resources that were already strained to breaking point. I was looking for basic food, eggs, rice, canned food, even milk for the children, and I couldn't find them, said Khan Yunis resident, giving only her nickname of Salem. This is how Israel is fighting us, through starvation of our children. They either kill children by bombs or soon by starvation. Those who have fled say many roads and streets are often difficult to use, and some impassable, because of damage. Where to go? Asked Hossam, 29, who was among the thousands fleeing. How long will the strikes and death last? We have no homes left, every area of Gaza is under threat, said the 29-year-old, her face streaked with tears.